Okay, so here's the thing, right? Then this happens at every interview. Because every interview,
What?
somebody asks me about the four, and then it gets
Because
to
you
the
forgot
part.
to bring up Charlie.
No, it's not that I forget to bring him up. It's that I forget his name every time. And like,
So he blocked you.
well, so here's what happened. I was doing an interview,
Mm.
and in the interview, we got to that part, and I was like, I couldn't remember his name, and I was like, oh man, I can't remember his name. And the guy I was doing the interview with was like, oh, that's fine, we'll cut it out. And I was like, no, leave that in there. I want him to see it. And all fun and games and
Right.
jokes and stuff like that. And then the interview came out, and I took that piece of the interview and I posted it in my story and I tagged him. Again, all fun and games. He ended up watching the clip. He watched the clip, then he went on to watch all the rest of my stuff, started liking stuff on my page and all that. And then I was
Mm.
like, oh, everybody, look, Charlie Walk watched my thing, and I posted it in the thing. And I was like, sorry, Charlie, but like you said, it's the music business, not the sweet business. About
Oh.
about 10 minutes later, blocked on everything.
Oh. I
Everything.
mean, come on. How can you be mad at that though?
I mean, it is what it is.
Whatever I do
You
in
know,
her name, how is that working with daily? This is life. We're not even
yeah,
talking artistry anymore. This is
yeah.
life.
Well, it's funny because the artistry has kind of become like what's allowed me to push forward.
Totally understand. Yep.
Around the time before she passed, she had actually lost the ability to speak, and all of that. But um, there was a moment when I went up to go see her, and she only had a few phrases that she was like able to say and all of that, and able to like comprehend only a few things. And then she stopped and she turned and she looked at me and she said, "Son, I want you to go out there and sing for those people." And that was the last sentence, like full thing that she said.
Wow.
And yeah. And then I remember the night that she passed, I was sitting next to her while she was in her bed, and we were watching some movies, what we used to always do together. Well, I mean, I had the TV on and the movie was playing, and I was just hoping that she was able to enjoy it, like just hearing it. And then I remember I was there next to her when she took her last breath, and I feel like from that moment, she's been up there whispering in God's ear. Um, and it's been really, really, really hard. Really, really, really hard. I never experienced, like, in my entire existence. I've had anxiety things and other stuff like that, like, show up. I never had a panic attack, like, since my mom passed away. Within those first 3 months, I had six. Like, curled up in a ball on the floor in a puddle of tears, like, you know, grasping for air but unable to reach it, kind of thing. And it's it's so weird, because I always thought of myself as the person who would try to be there for other people and try to be able to help people through that, through the panic attacks and everything like that. Like, I didn't even know exactly what it felt like. It was like, this sinking. And what's interesting too is that, like, sometimes when you're in it, like, you want it to stop, but you also don't want to do anything. You don't want to get out of it. And so, it's interesting because after going through that, it changed a lot of, who I am, and a lot of, like, the way that I approach certain things, and
Hmm.
like, my coping mechanisms and things of that nature. But it also gave me something gave me something that I would have never asked for and could have never asked for, and that is the new sense of empathy that I have that I've been wearing on my sleeve, like, especially when I go on stage. You know, like, that's been what's been,
That's your comfort place, would you
yeah,
say?
like, and the thing about it is, when I'm up there, like a lot of my shows, I think even at your show, like I try to make it a point to, mention like mental health and the things that we go through
Mhm.
because I know there are so many people going through so much stuff. And what
Silently.
exactly.
Mhm.
And what my journey showed me is that there are a lot of people out there who feel the way that I felt, and I wanted to be able to do something that can help them. And so like the songs that I write, the songs that I've put out, the songs that I perform, like it's all with a purpose. I've had people since then, since my mom passed, like come up to me afterwards and talk about, the passing of their loved ones and talk about, a lot of the stuff that they were currently going through. And then they would come up to me after these shows and tell me that, like, being able to hear that from somebody on stage or being able to hear that in a record or anything like that helped them get through what they were going through.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do it for, you know?
I'm
And yeah.
emotional all over again.
What's interesting too is that up until like the last couple of years of her life, I didn't know that she was even dealing with a lot of stuff because so many people suffer in silence.
Absolutely, yeah.
And she was one of those people, she would be so happy with everyone. She would light up the room. Whenever she was in a room, everyone in the room would feel her energy and her presence, and they would feel important and special. But like while she was doing that, she had a lot going on with her. I didn't know until she was about to pass when they gave us a list of prescriptions she was on, that she was on anxiety and depression medication. And what's crazy about that is the fact that, like, I mean, I don't know, it's always the people who, like, when you call them and, to see how they're doing, the first thing they do is ask you how you are.
Right.
The people that, say, "Oh yeah, I'm all right. How are you doing? What's going on in your life? How is," people that purposefully, change the
And then
direction.
they're
The
almost living through you because they want to hear like the details. They want to know
Yeah.
exactly what's happening. I totally feel everything you just said.